Hello and welcome. Myself Abhishek, and today I'm going to help you to understand a very important concept of coordinate geometry. Well, when we talk about the coordinate geometry, it is a part of geometry only. Geometry has been segregated in three parts. One, geometry in two-dimensional plane, where we discuss about the areas of perimeters of angles of triangles, rectangles, squares, and circles. Now, when we discuss about the geometry in three dimension, that is when we discuss about the volumes. And the third part of geometry is the coordinate geometry, where we discuss about the coordinates of various points and the various shapes like lines. Now, before we start, we need to understand the meaning of coordinates. Well, in the simple of the language, in the simplest language, we can say that coordinate is the address of a point. Let's say, for instance, if I want to locate my house or my office or myself anywhere if I'm standing, I would need some landmark. I would need some coordinates of probably that area. Likewise, to represent the point in a plane, we must have reference. And generally, we use X and Y axis as the reference, as a landmark. For instance, if I have a point P over here, I don't know where it is exactly, how to locate it. Then what do we say? That this point is at a certain distance from the x-axis and certain distance away from the y-axis. That way, we will be able to locate this particular point. So if I say this point is x1 distance away from the y-axis, and let's say y1 distance away from the x-axis, then this point can be located quite easily. There's going to be just one point at a particular distance from the x-axis and the y-axis. I cannot have multiple points at the same distances from the x and y-axis. Now, how to write the coordinates? We first write x1, which locates its distance along the x-axis away from the y-axis, and then y1. So this collectively is called the coordinates of the point P. Fair enough? Now, let's say I have moved from this point P to, let's say, point Q. Now here we have another point Q. While making my movement from P to Q, I somehow moved along the x-axis as well as along the y-axis, what I mean to say is I have made a movement in the horizontal direction as well as in the vertical direction. We are now going to understand those distance, those movement individually. Let's say the horizontal distance is represented as PR and the vertical distance is represented as QR. Now, the next thing that we need to do is to give the coordinates of point Q, because if I know the coordinates of point Q, a lot of things could be then discovered. For instance, let's say while moving from P to Q, my X coordinate changed to x2 and the y coordinate changed to y2. Now, what can be the coordinates of the point R? That is a third parameter which we need to find out. We must understand that when I make a vertical movement, that is when I fly above the x-axis in the same horizontal line, the x coordinate will not change. The x coordinate over here will remain x2, 0, and at this point it should be x1, 0. Then if I move anywhere on this line, on this perpendicular line, the x coordinate will remain x2. So this point's first coordinate should be x2. Now, when I move parallel to the x-axis, as in if I'm moving at a certain height, my height is not changing throughout my motion, right? So the coordinates, y coordinate of this particular point should be same as what we have for the point P, which is y1. Now, since we're done giving the coordinates of these particular points, now I can actually understand my vertical movement. Let's say delta y is a change in my vertical distance, and delta x is the change in the horizontal distance. Delta y, let us understand how to get it. Guys, it's going to be done quite easily. When I was at R, let's say, my height was y1, but when I'm at Q, my height is y2. So the vertical distance should be given as y2 minus y1, isn't it? And the horizontal distance when I was at P and then I moved to R should be given as x2 minus x1. So somehow I have managed to figure out my horizontal distance as well as the vertical distance. Now, the next question which could arise is that, do I have to move only through PQ? Can I not choose another path? Probably the line could have been this path, PQ could have been more inclined, could be less inclined as well. So what exactly I mean to say that PQ could have been this way, or it could have been this way also. So the inclination of these two lines will be different from what we have PQ originally as of now. So there should be some mathematical concept which will take care of the inclination of the line. And that is a very, very important concept, my dear, and that is called slope. Now, what is slope? Slope, as in terms of mathematics, is defined as degree inclination of a line, of a straight line. In mathematics, I could easily define this as slope as the rise over the run, as in how much distance is moved in the vertical direction, which is the rise, and how much distance is moved along the horizontal direction, which is called run. Now, slope is represented with small m, and that could be written as what? Rise delta y, run delta x. Isn't it so easy? So finally, we have arrived to a formula where we can find the slope if the 2 points on straight line is given. And that could be given as y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Guys, this is the formula for the slope of a line. And for the straight line, the slope will remain same throughout, because line is defined as locus of point moving in straight path. And the straight path cannot have different inclination at different points. Well, what we arrived to, the conclusion is, if the 2 points are given on a straight line, I could easily figure out the slope of that straight line. Let's say, for example, I'm moving on a line which I have 2 points, let's suppose 1, 2, and another point with the coordinates, let's say 3, 5. I want to figure out the slope of this line. Well, that could be easily done. The slope should be given as what? Y2 minus y1 using this relation. Well, we could choose this as y2 or you could choose this as y2. But make sure if you choose this as y2, you should choose 3 as x2. That should not be altered. Well, there should be how much? 5 y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. That definitely comes out to be 3 over 2. One more thing I want to bring out over here. Like a lot of times we say that slope is minus 2. We get that when the line is making some obtuse angle, we get a slope as probably minus 1, minus 2. But as we know that slope is defined as the ratio of the distance, and distance cannot be negative, but still we get the negative slope. Now, the right way to say that is the line has a negative slope of 2 or minus or 1. We should not say the line has a slope of minus 2. That's the incorrect way, but still people follow that. But as per the rule of mathematics, it should be the line has a negative slope of 2 or 1, whatever you want to say. So this is one way of finding the slope. I would be teaching you 5 more ways to find the slope. And the second way among that is using the angle. So let's say if I produce this line backward, and this angle is, let's say, theta, I can use this angle to find a slope. How? Let me teach you. The slope is defined as the tan of the angle that line makes with the x-axis in anti-clockwise direction from the point of right to the point of contact. We should not take this angle. No, that's going to be the wrong. Because as per the rule, as per the definition, it should be this. The reason you will understand with this relation, tan theta. Tan theta is opposite by adjacent. If I choose this angle, that will definitely indicate a different height and a different adjacent angle. So what we have concluded now is we can find the slope if we have the 2 points given or the angle given. Remaining 3-4 points we will discuss later. For now, let us try and do some questions over here. Okay, now, so here we have the question number 1 for you guys. And as you can see, here we have number 1. It says that a straight line with equation this is given. Find its slope. Okay. So as of now, we have not learned any such methods which can help me to find a slope with a given line. So what next? What we should learn? So So let us understand a little bit about the line first before we get into this question. Well, when we talk about the line is locus of points moving in straight path. Do not use the word collinear or something because they are defined after the line was defined. So any first degree polynomial represents a line. So we have the first general equation of line that everyone should know, general equation of line. General equation. Well, that is given as ax plus by plus c equals to 0. As you can see, the power of the variables x and y is 1. So this is going to be a linear polynomial. It clearly means it is representing a straight line. Well, the second and the very most important, very important formula for the line, equation of line, is called slope-intercept form. Very important. This is going to be a very handy tool while finding the slope-intercept form. Now, let's understand this slope-intercept form. It is standard form is y is equals to mx plus c. Now, what is this m and c represents over here? Guys, m represents the slope of the line and the c represents over here the y-intercept. Okay, so now we have been introduced to a new term that's called y-intercept. Let's understand this. For instance, if I have my x-axis and my y-axis, and there's a line which is just crossing like this, then this point is the point where the line is intersecting the y-axis, and this length is called your y-intercept. So intercept met on the y-axis is called the y-intercept. So if I have this equation of line, I could easily figure out the slope and the y-intercept. Now, this is the third way of finding the slope. Now, since we know this method of finding the slope, we could easily do this question. So let us strike on this question, guys. It says that I have a line that is 3x plus 10 times of y minus 9 equals to 0, and they are looking for the slope. Now, let me tell you one thing. The moment we have a line and they're looking for the slope, you must think of the slope-intercept form. This is the best tool to find the slope of any line given out there. So I must get this line in this standard format. For that, I just write 10y equals negative 3x plus 9, and I definitely make y free of coefficient to have it in this standard form. That should be negative 3 over 10 times of x plus 9 over 10. Now have a look at this one. Isn't it coming in the very much the form that we have over here? Yes, exactly it is. Now let us do the comparison. Well, I know that this is going to represent the slope of the line and this is going to represent your y-intercept. So now I have my slope. Slope is now given as negative 3 over 10 and we are done with this. So answer is negative 3 over 10 is the correct answer. Well, so far we have learned 3 ways to find a slope. We have different ways to find a slope as well. So to know those slopes, try and connect with us. Thank you for watching.